Mr. Trump.
Yo, some Trumptastic on the end of Black Down the Trump radio show. Yeah, I'm about to hit y'all over the head with another banger. Turn up pictures. Yeah, y'all gonna love this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, Hollywood's dead and I hate Kevin Spacey. King of the jungle and I flipped it like a monkey. Yeah, I flipped it like a monkey. Yeah, I flipped it like a monkey. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, Hollywood's dead and I hate Kevin Spacey. King of the jungle and I flipped it like a monkey. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, adrenochrome junkie. Yeah, Hollywood's dead and I know it's getting ugly. Yeah, I seen the flying log and I hit it with the Dougie. Better watch the waters cause the waters get so muddy. George Sorrel lurking and I hit you in your target spot. Sucker free Sunday had you passing out the lollipop. Hollywood's dead, I'm taking trips out to Calabasas. Adrenochrome junkie, yeah, that's a lot of dope. 100 body nose dive, yeah, that's a lot of coke. Hanging by the neck, kick the chair, that's a suicide. Jim Jones drinking, but you still order Pizzagate. Chilling with the rats, Ninja Turtles, I'm the sensei. Homos with the sexuals, I think you need some being gay. Adrenochrome junkie, caught you chewing on some pizza sauce. Cooking up some beef, but don't forget the pepperonis, dripperoni slaves. Clone with a second cousin, Dr. Fauci pizza roll. Hit her with a heart attack. Adrenochrome junkie, lost his kids and never got them back. Running up the numbers, counting like a Dracula. Vampire life, cross him over, I'm the hidden legend. Jesus Christ, Elon Musk, yeah, that's the hidden weapon. Dr. Pimple poppers popping pills, that's a sin infection. Big Mike, pay-per-view, I hit him with a big erection. Trump 2024, yeah, that's a big election. Adrenochrome junkie had you praying to the Baphomet. Brewing up some soup, number 7, 8, the alphabet. Child sacrifice remind me of the fragile drip. Maritime laws, now kick you off your battleship. Chelsea with the Clintons and she couldn't even handle that. I caught the deep state and I flipped them like an acrobat. Stirring up the Milky Way, I'm surfing on an Applejack. Moral on the red and I think I want my Pranzy back. Adrenochrome junkie, yeah, adrenochrome junkie, yeah. Hollywood's dead and I hate Kevin Spacey. King of the jungle and I flipped it like a monkey, yeah. Flipped it like a monkey, yeah. Flipped it like a monkey, yeah. Adrenochrome junkie, yeah. Adrenochrome junkie, yeah. Hollywood's dead and I hate Kevin Spacey. King of the jungle and I flipped it like a monkey.
The next person they're going to try to kill is Elon Musk. I'm telling you right now, so let's go ahead and prepare for it. Where is his security team? Can somebody let me know? I want to see a full documentary on his security team. Who's protecting Elon Musk? Mr. Trumptastic.
Yo, Trumptastic. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm fresh to death. Like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. 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 Yeah, I'm fresh to death. Like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch. Trips around the Atlas, had me ballin' like a globe. Try to double dribble, slam dunk. I'm dripping through the paint, nigga. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm fresh to death. Like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch. Trips around the Atlas, had me ballin' like a globe. Try to double dribble, slam dunk. I'm dripping through the paint, nigga. Everything I touch turns to glitter. I'm a lucky charm. Fettuccine Alfredo mixed it with the Parmesan. EBS coming in is ringing like a car alarm. Honey, I shrunk the kids about the size of a peppercorn. USA flag and I stitched it with the Betsy Ross Baywatch Barbie. Then I hit her with the hats off. Frog man, Oculus, I had to take my glasses off. Sammy Sosa flow, yeah, I had to change change color. I'm an acrobat, flip your ass like the ring umbrellas. Captain Planet, Superman, I'm flying through the stratosphere. I can pop your top like a soda or a can of beer. Starter man jacket had me ballin' like the Cavaliers. You can catch Corona, but I'd rather have a Heineken. I had to check my watch, yeah, it's that time again. Stamping postcards, send them off with the mailman. 50 round clips, dropping shells like Michelangelo. Ninja Turtle flow, dripping blood in your pizza sauce. Yeah, I'm so cold, I'm Santa surfing in a Poconos. Just talk to Jesus and I think I caught the Holy Ghost. George Norris swag, hell yeah, I'm going coast to coast. 3 strikes you out like Adidas with the shell toes. Bullets down like Foghorns, chopper rip like Velcro. 7 for the half, but I got it for the elbow. Red wave, cutting off the water like the hurricane. I used to sell Grammys, now I'm stinging with the Novocaine. AMC stock, had me throwing 8 shit. Guilty deep state while I'm going on a date, bitch. Mar-a-Lago, red chains closed, now I'm MAGA man. Backdoor till shoot your ass like the Taliban. Scary movie 2, Jason Voorhees, I'm the son of Sam. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm fresh to death like I'm hopping down my casket, bitch. Mr. Fantastic. Yo, fantastic. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm fresh to death like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. 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 Yeah, I'm fresh to death like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch. Trips around the Atlas, had me ballin' like a globe trotter. Double dribble, slam dunk, I'm dripping through the paint, nigga. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm on my MAGA shit. Yeah, I'm fresh to death like I'm hopping out my casket, bitch.
Hold on, y'all. Hey, let's do a sound check, man. They messing with the stream, y'all. I swear they messing with whoever bombing my stream. This is crazy. Hold on. Let me do a sound check. Let me do a sound check. Yeah, they messing with the stream. While I had that video going, yeah, my computer went blank like 3 times. Yeah, I was trying to reload the whole time. That's crazy work. Yeah, that's crazy work, man. Hold on. I got a comment, man. What's up, man? You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get the information out, man. What's up? What's up, Alan, man? Yeah, I'm just trying to get the information out. Man, my screen went blank 3 times while that video was playing. I'm like, we just go watch. We just go stream a few things, because the thing is, when I get the information, I like watching it with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have time to watch stuff and then come on live and discuss it with y'all. So when I'm soaking up the information, I'll be like, man, I might as well just give people my eyes and see what I'm seeing, and I'll do a whole bill later on, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if the stream goes blank, just stay put. Like sometimes, man, and I got all new equipment, bro. I got all new equipment. I spent so much money on this equipment. It don't matter how much money you spend. If they go strike your channel, they go strike it, bro. I'm telling you that, right? I figured that out. I figured that out the hard way. So, sometimes I gotta set my channel up in different ways where it just ain't, looking crazy. Even though I want to get the information out, you gotta do it in a unique way because they'll bomb your channel. And like I said before, if you ain't a whalehead in this movement, if you ain't like the top 3 streamers in your movement, you already know they go cut your channel. You already know they go slice it. So let's get into what y'all want to get into first, man. We'll just do the President Donald Trump and Putin stream right quick because I got to catch up on so many things, and I'm not gonna be able to do it. Hold on, I'm not gonna be able to do it the other way. So hold on. Okay, this is Fox News right here. Let's pull this up, see what they talking about, and then we go stream we go segue into the JFK files because that's supposed to be released today too. We all just waiting on stuff right now. Basically, we all just waiting on stuff to unravel. Um, we went over the auto pen. We broke the auto pen down yesterday, and that's tied to Joe Biden being this autonomous robot. He's the first autonomous robot president. We already went over that. We already knew that years ago, but we gotta repeat it to the lost ones out there. There's some lost ones out there, so we trying to get people up to speed on why the Democrats have no power. Yes, people are wondering why. Damn, why are they just bypassing court orders and all? Because the courts is compromised too. Once the president of the United States, the duly elected president of the United States, figure out the war is within, all that shit shut down. We damn near martial law right now. But you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? That's why people are like, why is Trump just doing all this stuff freely? Because he got the red button, and the commander in chief is defending the nation. People don't understand that from the left, man. Like I said, a lot of people go to hell with the Antichrist, man. It just is what it is, family. You just gotta, because everybody picked a side, picked a hill to die on. You feel everybody picked a hill to die on, and if you're not caught up to date on current events, so you go be sucked into that black hole. Yeah. And this is on both sides. I'm telling you right now. And I'll be like, man, watch this person, because you got bad actors working with UNESCO on both sides. They already know the left is cooked. Where else do you think they gonna go? They gonna go to the right. That's why you see a lot of social media influencers right now acting real weirdos. Yeah, damn near pedo-like behavior. Yeah, we done seen that from the Hodge twins. We done seen it from Candace Owens. We done seen it from Nick Fuentes. We done seen it with Kanye East. They always want to bring this sexually deviant, characteristics in the conservative movement, and that ain't what it's all about. And then they sit around and troll Christians all day. Like, damn, what the fuck going on? Like, really, what the fuck is going on? And I'm not no extra religious person. I just see what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? I just know what I'm seeing, and it don't smell right. It's not passing the smell detector test. Now let's stream, because man, if I keep on talking the way I do, man, they gonna shut me down, bro. I'm gonna just be honest with you. So we go into some Fox News. This is Secretary Head of Seth. Is that how you pronounce his name? Head Seth. Let's see what the hell going on. Okay, let's. Okay, this is the UN Security Council on Middle East after the Israeli strikes in Gaza. Somebody's hiding a secret. And I think Trump knows somebody hiding something under his nose, and he can't find it. So he did what he did. Because one of these Israelis, they masked up as somebody else, and I don't think they telling Trump the truth. I'm gonna be honest with you. So guess who go tell the information of all them little smaller nations like Iran and Iraq? Guess who they go tell on? It's gonna point right back to who was running the whole thing to begin with. Watch how it play out. Y'all gonna be like, damn, it was them. Of course, they was wearing a mask. Maybe two or three at the same time. But yeah, that's how these people roll. Just know, and they did the same thing to that dude in Germany. Everybody don't like quotation mark. Yeah, they did him like that. They had to create a whole Justice League just to take out Mr. H. Just like they got to create a whole Justice League to take out Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? But they're basically under the guise of justice, but they really ain't administrating any justice. These are pirates. They go by maritime law, or what we call maritime law, because this is their religion. Okay, they flood gates like the god Adam. This is the god. This is the religion of Adam that's being resurrected on earth as we speak. So let's get into. All right, let's get into this the Security Council, and then we go play this for a little bit, and then I'm gonna keep an eye out on them JFK assassination files to be released. We go keep an eye out on that because I got two streams going right now. So we go watch this, and I'm gonna keep an eye out on. We might go to Benny Johnson's channel for real because he's talking about it too. We might just segue over there. You feel me? So we just Santa surfing on the internet. But thanks for y'all listening to the introduction. You know how we do on this channel. It's all family. Shouts out to Jay Morrison, man. Shouts out to Brody. All right, let me see. Man, I can't believe my video was acting up. And I was streaming right off the website. I can't believe it got stuck like that. I gotta figure. I might have to just get a new streaming channel for real. Let's pull this up. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Don't let me break out singing. You know I'm a music artist. I'll break out in kumbaya. Here we go. Here we go right here. Let me get this off the screen. All right, man. I'm gonna take a quick break. We go segue into this right quick and see what they talking about.
Points have been shut off. Bakeries are closing. That could stop at any moment. This is horrifying and unacceptable. Humanitarian aid should never be used as a political tool. We are calling first. We call for the protection of civilians and for safe, rapid, unimpeded humanitarian access. We call on Israel to fulfill its international obligations, allow for a rapid and unhindered resurgence in the flow of aid. This includes the water and sanitation equipment, essential to meet humanitarian and early recovery needs in Gaza, but which
Yeah, they busting up the stream. They trying to bust up the stream. Hold on. They trying to bust up the stream. Let me get out of here. Yeah, they trying to. I know what they trying to see. They got my shit locking up, y'all. They got my whole channel locking up. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's go into Benny Johnson. Damn. See what the hell Benny Johnson talking about. Wow, bro. This is nutty. This is nutty. We really didn't have no hiccups this morning. Everything ran smooth, but I guess around this time of the day, yeah, they don't want you on here. Let's go. Okay, let's go here. That's giving me too many damn problems. Hold on. What y'all think y'all go here with this JFK? I think. Hold on. Okay. I think it's gonna be the people we already know. It's gonna be the CIA. You know what I'm saying? They gonna tell us some stuff we already know. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be more detailed. So let's get in. Let's see if we could do this. Let's see. Because I don't want to have to reboot the whole damn stream. That'll suck if I had to do that. Let me click on here. See what he's talking about. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right.
Here's one example of a diagram of exactly what this bullet did. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, so let's see what the government's trying to tell us here. So it goes through Kennedy's back and throat. You can see the Zapruder film. Kennedy kind of grabbed his chest area. And it goes here. It breaks a rib. And it shatters his hand. Then it lodges in his thigh. But it did it because that magic bullet was actually in the back of the limousine, according to the man who found it. Idiots. And now technology has, of course, proved all of this a lie, because there's no way that bullets travel in ballistics, man. Bullets travel in straight lines until they hit a force strong enough to stop them. Sure, there's slight deviations, but it doesn't go like, bullets don't go like that. Didn't happen. It's all a lie. It's physically only possible to have shot 3 rounds from where Lee Harvey Oswald was shooting. Now, this has been recreated, okay? So I want to I don't think that it's fruitful to go down that path. So it's physically only possible to chamber and to fire 3 rounds using the caliber and rifle that Lee Harvey Oswald was using. So a 4th bullet, and we know that the first round that was fired there, and I'm not saying that he didn't fire any rounds at all, but there were only 3 shell casings that were found there in this school book depository. So going with the government's official story, the first bullet missed. We know that because it was found. It was found lodged into the cement in the road. First bullet misses. Doesn't hit anyone. So they're left with 2 bullets. This is a government before the internet. This is a government that was able to lie with much greater impunity and protection. And this is where you get the official story of JFK's assassination. So what will we find out today? Who covered it all up? How did they get away with doctoring bodies? That's what Joe Rogan talked about. Who has the power? The same people who have the power to cremate Matthew Thomas Crooks has the power to doctor Kennedy's body. Joe Rogan talking with legendary director, filmmaker, and documentarian Roger Stone. Sorry, Roger Stone will be joining our show. Oliver Stone, who's done such extensive research on this. And the reality that it wasn't JFK's body and it wasn't JFK's brain that was finally delivered for an official autopsy. The rough sketches that I just showed you with Dr. Cyril, those are the initial sketches done at the Dallas Memorial Hospital. They didn't do a full autopsy there. The government immediately seized the body. And there are confirmed reports from 40 different witnesses that these bodies had been doctored, that there was a massive wound in President Kennedy's, an exit wound in the back of his head from a bullet that was clearly fired from the front. And they realized that this was the existence of another bullet means a conspiracy. The existence of another shooter means a conspiracy. They hadn't accounted for that. So what'd they do? Let's listen to the expert.
The alteration of the autopsy photos and the difference between
the autopsy itself.
Yes, the autopsy itself. The difference between the Dallas autopsy and the way they looked at it at Bethesda, Maryland.
There was no autopsy in Dallas. It was just
the examination of the
it was very
body.
quick. The tracheotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tracheotomy and also the description of the exit wound
In
his head.
Well, that comes out later.
Yeah.
Although some people didn't see it, but 40 people. What the ARB did, thank God, was collect all the people who saw the
Mhm.
rear exit wound, and it was huge. It was, we showed the film in the film. We showed the 40 people who saw it.
What's really crazy you document in the film was the fact that it wasn't really his brain. That the
Yeah, I was going to go to that. Because
yeah, please. The brain that they had used as a piece of evidence that this was Kennedy's brain had clearly been in formaldehyde for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad our documentary, and this is James Eugenio, who wrote it. You know, he's really the guy who reads everything, remembers everything through all these years, and there's 1 million documents. We drove a stake through the magic bullet. That's clear. There's no chain of custody. The FBI lied. They also, in the matter of the autopsy, the brain is intact. And it was photographed as such. It was a clean. The whole area was still there, whereas it's impossible because the brain was seen. You see it spraying out in the car in the Zapruder film. You see it. The nurses, Audrey Bell is talking about I can't remember the medical term, whatever it's called. It's spilling out on the floor of Parkland.
Yeah.
And when they weigh the brain, as they do in an autopsy, it comes out normal.
What evil are we going to find out today? Like, who are these people? Again, we know what Operation Paperclip is. We know about the Nazi scientists that were brought here. It's human experimentation. We know that the CIA smuggled them here. In order to keep them from falling into the hands of the Soviets. The CIA has the power to doctor bodies, official autopsies, to recreate brains. Where is all this evidence these days? Oh, you'll be shocked to know that the limousine that JFK was driving in was immediately stripped mined, torched, and melted down within hours of this assassination. Couldn't find it, can't use it. Sorry. That witnesses to all of this have lost their lives in very mysterious circumstances, including a man who was shot in the leg at the exact same time. Again, let's establish the fact pattern here. The existence of one more bullet means conspiracy. That's all you need. One more bullet. That's why everything hinges on this magic bullet, which the Secret Service agent who found it says it's bullshit. I found it in the back, lodged in the back of the car. This is how weak this case is. This is how long they've lied to the American people. They died. This is the damn bullet. I mean, look at this thing. And this is how little it stands up to actual medical scrutiny today. Forensic pathologist looks at the alleged scans of JFK's brain and, let's just say, blows our minds. Let's go.
The official autopsy report places the entry wound about 2.5 centimeters to the right and slightly above the external occipital protuberance, which is the bump in the back of your head, which is represented right here on the x-ray. One of the things that happens when a bullet strikes the skull is it sends off these radiating primary fractures that you can follow back down to the entry point. As the head expands, it causes these concentric heaving fractures that occur perpendicular to the primary fractures. Using this pattern, you can backtrack to the location of the entry wound. Several of the investigative committees that were set up by the government placed the location of the entry wound much higher up on the top of the head. If that were the case, this would be the fracture pattern that we would see. We'd see the primary fracture lines radiating downwards with the concentric fractures circling back up to locate the entry wound at the top of the head. If we compare these two images with President Kennedy's head x-ray, which is down here, you can see these primary fractures going upwards in this direction, telling me that the entry wound is down low. We also have these secondary heaving fractures that occur as the head expands, also pointing to an entry wound that's down low. So if we compare the two possibilities, the autopsy described fracture pattern versus the investigative committee fracture pattern, you can see they're quite different. And if you try to overlay them, you'll see that it matches much more closely.
I love these scientists. They're just like, it's very. You can't beat the actual data and the actual evidence And this is why they hide this stuff with Matthew Thomas Crooks. This is why they hide it. You can't beat the physical evidence. That's why they get rid of it like this. You can't beat it. You can't win if you have the films. If you can't win, if you have the diagrams, if you have the actual autopsies, if you have the actual information, the data. And we have it. We have the evidence. They've lied to us about JFK's assassination. Why did they lie to us? President Trump said that 80,000 documents will be released today, that they will be largely unredacted, and that will be the end of it.
Y'all hear that? He said 80,000, family. He said 80,000 gonna be released today. Bro, I might have to stream, like, we might have to keep this stream up for the next 5, 6, 7 hours, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. We might have to keep this stream just going for the next 6, 7 hours, man. Because we don't know what time. So look, we still go watch Benny Johnson. Shouts out to Benny Johnson. I'm using his footage, but we doing it for learning purposes only. 80,000 files gonna be dropped on everybody's head today. And he said he just gonna leave it at that. But the thing is, the same people that try to dox Trump is the same people that doxed JFK. They swapped his brain, they stripped his car. And the thing is, Donald Trump could yeah, he could bring the punishment. He go bring that retribution. Let's go. I ain't gonna pause it no more. I just had to. When I heard that, I had to stop. I had to stop it. Let's go though. I'll be back.
In a controversial new bill that just passed, all 50 states approved $710 back for U.S. drivers.
Quickest way to smooth wrinkled skin. Moisturizer helps your skin, right? Nope.
Now, the one man who's seen these documents already is Donald Trump. Judge Napolitano, speaking to Donald Trump, said that Trump told him that what was inside of these documents was so dark that he wasn't allowed to release it. What will we find out today? Well, there's only one man that I would trust in asking about subject matter like this. There's only one man who we believe would be a truth teller on subjects of this magnitude and weight, and that would be the great congressman who spits absolutely pure fire and honesty about our federal government, Tim Burchett from Tennessee, who joins us live right now. Congressman, what are you expecting today with the release of these files? And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Do you believe the official story about JFK's assassination?
No, I've got one of those Italian carbines. It's called a Mannlicher. It's wooden stock. You could have gone into a Western Auto and bought an M1 carbine with sniper, for a sniper rifle, basically in those days for about, I don't know, $35-40, something like that. But they chose to do a Mannlicher carbine, and that was written up in I remember we had one. I remember my dad shooting it. It was so rickety, but it was written up in a magazine one time as the only gun that never won a war. And this is how gullible America is. We trust the FBI. We trust the CIA. I trust a lot of the people there because they're patriots, but their bosses are criminals. And that's apparent in this. This was a cover-up of the highest proportions. There's no way in hell Lee Harvey Oswald made those shots. And and everybody knows there's more than one bullet. That bullet, they keep showing that bullet. I've hunted my whole life, and you shoot a .22 rifle in the bullet if you can find it. it's turned into a mushroom. That thing hardly has even any grooves. And then they find it on a gurney in the hospital that I guess somebody's body just ejected it, and it transversed and went. We believe it, and here's what's going to happen. They're going to release the 70,000 documents, as President Trump said. I don't think they're going to be able to get them all out today. They're going to parse them out. And that's probably a good thing, because some of it, of course, is going to be false information that's in there. Not necessarily placed there false, but information they got that we know later is not truthful. So, one day it'll be this group, another day it'll be another group. And I think it's going to be it's going to be a long time. And I honestly don't think we'll ever really know who pulled the trigger. I have my suspects, as a lot of people do. But I think that America deserves to know. And anytime, it just like, we still don't know much about that little squirrely punk who took a shot at President Trump,
Of course. Yep.
And here we are, and you showed the pictures, and that always ticked me off. I was like, what in the world are they doing washing that crime scene off? I'm in Knox County. I was mayor of Knox County, in our sheriff's department and our local KPD, Knoxville Police Department. There's a crime scene. They'll block it off. The forensic people will come in. I mean, it's days. It's days. You don't let any degradation come of the site. They would have had a tarp over the top of it. And what is the FBI doing? They're hosing it off. You don't know the blood. I've seen pictures of allegedly some folks that I may or may not know that was. That can be, if you want people to question and have doubts, you immediately go in and do that garbage. Or if as you said, you're trying to cover it up. But if you want the truth to be known, you let it all go out there. And this is, again, it's everything. Every time we start getting close to something, if it's UFOs, if it's RFK, or JFK, it's always national security. We can't release this because of national security. And that is BS. The federal government does not have the right, nor should they, to decide what you and I can handle. And they're arrogant, they're corrupt. It's about power, it's about corruption, everything that Washington, D.C. runs on. And this is a continuation of it.
It's interesting that you brought up this point, because the entire first half of the show, we were talking about the similarities between Matthew Thomas Crooks, Lee Harvey Oswald, between these two shootings, between President Trump and JFK. And the destruction of evidence is one of those big similarities. And they cremated the body.
The boy.
They cremate the body without the coroner even knowing in Butler County. Butler County coroner goes, "You did what?" The FBI said, we set it on fire. And he said, that's my jurisdiction. I actually have control of that body. And we've seen nothing. Have you seen you're a member of Congress. You can subpoena things. You're on some pretty powerful committees. Have you seen an autopsy? Do you even know what that kid was on?
No. And I'll tell you one other thing. I don't read a lot of books outside of the Bible, and I don't read it enough, obviously, because of my chosen profession. But it's called I Heard You Paint Houses, and it's about the guy who allegedly shot Jimmy Hoffa. And I don't know that he really did it or not, but he was close enough. But he had made an interesting statement. He said there's always a patsy who is mentally deficient, and not his exact words, I'm adding that. But you look at all of them. Look at shot Martin Luther King, just an old thug, local criminal, and they caught him in London, England, and this was in '68. RFK, this Saran, and he's allegedly doped up. He doesn't even remember it. Lee Harvey Oswald, loner, Marine, sniper, went to Russia, maybe contacted communists down in Mexico at the Russian embassy. Just all kinds, and whether that's even a legitimate photo right there or not, it's just beyond belief. But we accept it because we are trusting people, but not anymore. They have not given us a reason to trust them, and we should question everything. And I don't care who's in the dadgum White House. You finally got Trump in there, and God help him. I hope he stays healthy, because he is turning over a lot of stones. And that's why Doge is going to ultimately, I think if it fails, is because of both parties are going to do it in, because they're getting too close to home. We're cutting in on somebody's cash cow, and it's and that cash cow is mooing a little too loud right now, and America knows it. And I hope we keep the pressure on all this stuff. Disclosure, don't get distracted. Stay on point. Get this information. Representative Luna, she chairs the committee, and she was kind enough to put me on it. And we're going for all the disclosure we can get. We're going to push it as hard as we can. But when America gives up on it and gets, I used to say when I was in the Knox County Mayor's office, I said, boys, there's going to be another wreck on the interstate tomorrow, and people will get distracted. And so let's keep on point.
So it's very interesting because doing what we do for a living, Congressman, there is no lack of appetite. As much as there are little distractions and, look over here, look over there, man, you're never gonna quell the appetite for information on Epstein, for the truth about JFK, the Trump assassinations, something that is foundational actually for my generation. I wasn't alive for JFK's assassination, but everyone that was living knows where they were when they heard Trump was shot in the head.
Yeah.
Everyone. And we are ravenous, starving for information. We've learned nothing.
And that's by design. They would run the clock out. As I state, Americans want their pizzas in 30 minutes or less, and that's about our dadgum attention span. And I'm guilty of that too. And they'll oh, here's something else over here. Look over here, and then boom, we're off over there.
So President Trump's going to release these files. There's not many people that are still alive. So the only things that are being protected by releasing, that you would want to protect would be institutions, not individuals who were part of this, because they're all dead, right? And there's still a ravenous appetite 70 years later, 60, 70 years later on this, on the JFK assassination.
Yep.
You said that you have your suspicions about who's behind it. Who's behind it?
Well, there's a lot of people that benefit: the mob, LBJ, others. I think it was a combination of some of those, and they got together on it. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's get this guy out of the way. He was talking disclosure. He was compromised himself. I mean, there's question. He had a bad back, so he was probably loaded up. He loved the ladies, and I'm sure he was compromised there. And I just think he was an asset to some wealthy elites until he wasn't. And that's a good lesson for everybody to learn in politics, because they will gut you like a hog as soon as they're done with you. And they were done with him. And I think he was close to dislodging the CIA. And so, there wasn't a cell phone back then. There wasn't. These people could get information and they could talk freely. They talk freely over telephones, and I think there was a combination there, that there was a vacuum, and it allowed several people to be involved in that. You can't have, but anybody will tell you that. I mean, I haven't really just studied assassinations or talked to assassins, but I know enough snipers that will tell you that a crossfire is what you got to have. You got to have more than one shot. And one interesting thing at the Warren Commission, it was asked in the Warren Commission, they asked the top sniper at the time, could he have made that shot? And he said no. And it turned out he was it was an Olympian. I think he was from a Soviet bloc nation. And they threw that question out. There's just so many holes in this thing because you didn't have instantaneous information. And you'd have two reporters, and if they're on the take, it wouldn't take much to dislodge a story and just send you down the wrong path. And that's why, honestly, Benny, I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we'll ever know exactly until we meet our maker what the heck went on there. And several of those. And that's why I think it's important. Get as much information about that kid that shot Trump as we can, because we will never know. We will not know who contacted that kid. Because remember, there was talk that he didn't have an internet presence, which is just unheard of. But then he did have accounts overseas, and there was all this other talk, and there was never any clarification of any of that. And you have to be careful, because the people that are against us, the American way, they will dislodge the truth by interjecting falsehoods, and then we go down those paths. So until you see it, I wouldn't trust it. If somebody tells you, I'd question it.
Really quick here, before we get to here he is, Matthew Thomas Crooks on the phone. There he is, literally Talking on the phone, but this is the one phone that the FBI just can't hack. You see, you just can't get access to it. Before we get to this, what does it mean? You represent a branch of the federal government. It's in the Constitution. What does it mean that our government spent so much time to lie to the American people? The entire fraudulence of the Kennedy assassination was a carefully concocted conspiracy theory fomented by the government. It's statistically, scientifically impossible. Based on the evidence, it's not possible. It didn't happen that way. Federal government spent so much time creating a narrative to lie to people who didn't have the technology that we have today. What does it say about our relationship with our government that they would do this? That potentially the CIA was involved, as Tucker Carlson's reporting says.
We're crooked and we're complacent because we allow elected officials to do what they're doing right now. To do what they're doing. I mean, just look at Doge. $10 million for circumcisions. Obviously, they're voluntary. Do you honestly think that's actually that money's going there? Yet nobody's demanding. I mean, I am. I'm out here raising hell about it every day. But where's the leadership? Where is either party on any of this stuff? Why are we not forming bills and laws to put these things that Trump is passing that we know are by executive order, that we know are just so outrageous? Why are we not doing that? Why are we so overwhelmed with our public forums and our press releases that we can't do that? For instance, I have this crazy bill. We found out that there's $40 million a week going to the Taliban. $40 million a week. Now, and the last session, the dog Buzz just walked in here. The last session, I couldn't even get a senator to pick up the dadgum bill. And why is the public not outraged? It's just we're getting lazy and complacent. We got Trump in the White House, and we just stop. Our preachers don't preach the gospel; they're gutless. We've got politicians that all they're concerned about. If I do that, man, might not get reelected. Oh, dadgum. And we're on a grease pole right now, this country is, and we better wake up, because you will see if Trump is not successful, it will be the end of America as we know it, I feel like, because they're just ganging up, and both parties will. We got about 100 to 150 days, and I think, and we're in about 65 or 70 now, and we better get cracking.
I just want to stop the serious conversation for a moment here, Congressman, and say that the chat and our audience just loves it when you say dadgum.
Well,
we actually have a custom emoji built for you that says dadgum. And,
thank you.
Every time you say it, the chat just goes wild, and they're huge fans of Congressman Burchett. So
I actually put it on a hat and I sell it on my website.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
We'll pull that up. So your contention here is that the federal government had a major hand, potentially LBJ had a major hand in the assassination of Kennedy.
I think so. I think he was an evil, corrupt dude. I understand he got saved before he died, Billy Graham at his ranch, but just everything about that guy. He's mean, he's crooked. I mean, he's what Washington is, if they're allowed, before you were exposed to all this stuff. And he was allowed to do that. And he was an evil, mean man. And there's no question. But there's been some that have probably been more evil and more corrupt. And it's just, and it's on us. When 12% of the population goes and votes, you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
Do you think that the CIA was involved in the?
They had to be. They had to be at some level. I don't know. Everybody gets off on these conspiracies, but the reality is that they had to be to put him in that place. That the CIA agents had been out drinking the night before. They were hungover, and I dare say, they talk, and it's just not like he should have been in a bubbled car. And that when you're riding down the street in high rises, everybody. I mean, that's just the whole thing. I think they made the opportunity available, and somebody did, not the agents on the ground. I'm sure they're patriotic Americans, and I think the last one of them died the other day. He's 90 something. But you're right. There's nobody left alive. We're protecting the institution. It's like, I want to hear my dogs are barking. It's like the churches these days. They're not going to, and I'm going off on them because I'm part of that problem, I guess. But they're not worried about the gospel of Christ. They're worried about the brick structure and their hierarchy within their religious circles. And it's the same way with government. They're just protecting the hierarchy. They're protecting the reputation of their institutions. And it's beyond me, but that's what and for the record, again, I am not suicidal. If you find me tomorrow with 12 bullet holes in the back of my head, I did not shoot myself.
Definitely not with the
one
Italian
bullet.
rifle that Oswald used.
Yeah. Oh, and
to kill.
One other thing, the gun they show holding up is a
Carcano, a Carcano Model 38. The Carcano.
Yeah. So everything about this just stinks, and I don't know how we'll ever get to the bottom of it. And because when this evidence comes out, you watch 70,000 files. There'll be so much in there, and people will be chasing so many rabbits. It'll be the last man standing who gets to the last piece of information, can piece it all together. But we're not talking 70,000 pages. We're talking 70,000 files.
So you don't think you don't think they're going to actually give the truth, even with all the full declassification?
I think it's in there. You just got to piece it out. It's like they used to say, Michelangelo or somebody look at a block of marble and say, "Well, it's in there. I just got to chisel it out." That's my way of saying, "Dadgummit, it's a mess."
Final question, Congressman, because you did just bring up, like, you're not suicidal. The similarities between these cover-ups, man. I mean, you can see the documents where the FBI is protecting Epstein as a
that dirtbag. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They used him. Again. They used him. Everybody thinks they're invaluable until they're not. And I remember I tweeted out, I was down at the beach in Florida, and I tweeted out and I said, I hope he isn't suicided. And then 15 minutes later, somebody said, one of them said, "Boss, you're a prophet." I said, "What?" I said, "Epstein just offed himself." And I said, "The hell he did." I said, "Let me guess. He hung himself in a jail and nobody saw it." And they said, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And I was like, that's another deal. I mean, that's just, nobody buys that. But the thing is, we're so complacent. We don't demand, it's freaking New York. Who'd have thought there'd be corruption up there?
Yeah, well, so it's just the same parallels, right? It's the same thing with Matthew Thomas Crooks. It's the destruction of evidence. It's the withholding of evidence. It's the cameras were turned off. We can't give you the official story. We can't give you what actually happened. We can't hand you the evidence. And so we're going to lie to you and hope it goes away. And I really just hope it doesn't go away.
And the one lone attempted assassin, think about it, that shot Reagan. I mean, everybody saw it. They knew it was him, and he was allowed to live.
He's free now.
Yeah, he's out now. He's on a book.
He's a musician now. Shot Reagan right in the chest. Congressman, insightful, exciting, and honest, more importantly.
Thank you.
And we're just such huge fans of your CNN hits. We didn't get a chance to play the newest one, but man, you just give them a whooping.
And this morning, it's called a Tennessee dog whooping. I don't know about that. A blind hog gets an acorn every now and then, Benny. You're very kind. I don't know why they keep having me on. I think it's a therapy session. I think we got to take 15 minutes. We're going to use this poor knucklehead from Tennessee for 15 minutes. I walked out. I'm in my new office. My wife is just like the queen bee of decoration. I would spin it around and show everything. But I walked out and she was drinking her coffee in the kitchen. She just kind of looked at me and nodded. Because I said, "What?" The thing is, every time I'm on CNN, those radicals all over the country, they call my office and yell at the girls in my office, like, "How tough is that?" They remind me of little punks when I was in school that throw a rock over the fence and run home and hide behind their mama's skirts. That's what these liberals are. We got to take it to them, man. Take it to them. The truth, baby. That's where it's at.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the post right here. It's on our timeline. Go check it out. Tim Burchett. Man, this was an absolute flamethrower. Congressman, always speaking truth. We're very thankful for you. Follow Tim Burchett, who has 260,000 followers now. Holy moly.
Thank you, Benny.
Gone
Thanks for
viral.
getting me there. Thanks for getting me there, brother.
You've gone viral, Congressman. We love that. This audience absolutely loves you and stands with you. Godspeed.
That gummit, Benny, thank you, man. You're a godsend for this country, man. I'm out, I've a lot of rural folks. I know y'all listen to me and think, gosh, this guy must have been Ivy League educated or something, but no, my folks love you. I seen you on the Benny show, it's like I seen you at the Walmart, but but they love you, brother. Thank you for what you do for this country, man, and thank you for being a good dad.
Yes, that's actually the most important work for the country.
Number one.
You can't have a good country without more Americans and good Americans.
That's right. I saw JD Vance at something. The guy's got some like evil mind where he can remember people's names. He's met me like once, and he says, "Hey Tim, we were talking, and he was leaving this thing. He said, I got to get something with my daughters. They're having or my kids. It was back during Christmas. They were at some Christmas. I said, dude, get out of here. I said, that's and he agreed with me. So I dig that. So thank you, brother.
I dig that. All right. Thank you, Congressman. Godspeed once again. Thank you for being a truth teller. Maybe the only one.
I don't know about that. Thanks, brother. Love you, Benny.
Whew, ladies and gentlemen, we got Roger Stone coming up in the bullpen. We're very, very excited about it. We also are excited about this brand new year. I do have 4 kids. I do want to stay in shape for 4 kids under 4 and under. Got a kid, a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 1-year-old. Whew, it's a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I don't get enough time.
All right, y'all. We're going to try to find something else. I don't think they releasing documents right now. We still waiting on Brody. We still waiting on Brody right here. So just hold tight. I'm gonna see what else we got. Hunter Biden security to the JFK files. That's 2 days ago. What is this? Hold on, y'all.
There's going to be, we've got a lot of news about not just the judge who told Donald Trump to turn those planes around, the ones that were headed with Tren de Aragua, individuals and professionals that were headed out back to their home so they could go to prison and not murder and attack and cause thuggery and evil here in the United States of America, which most people think is a good idea. Not the Democrats, not the judges, not the liberal lunatics who sit on the bench in these district courts. They are just, for whatever reason, they believe that we should have as many thuggish criminal gang members from other countries here illegally to just wreak havoc on our citizens. I don't know. I don't get it, but maybe that's why the Democrat Party has the lowest approval rating in a very, very long, under 24% of Americans approve. Oh, which, by the way, brings me to Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, this guy, I don't know why I don't even know what he's still doing around. Chuck Schumer, this guy should probably go. This guy should probably go because Chuck Schumer, man, he's having a rough one. Chuck Schumer is having a rough one. Chuck Schumer is doing the rounds, trying to explain away his horrible, I guess you would say, leadership or lack thereof in trying to stop this continuing resolution. And everybody in the Democrat Party, all the media personalities who are staunchly liberal, all those folks, they've had it with Chuck Schumer. They are ready, they are ready for Chuck Schumer to go. They want Chuck Schumer to exit stage left. And if he doesn't, they're going to get that big hook and they're going to drag him off. He's getting it from every angle. He's getting it from what's her name? Gayle King, Oprah's best friend on CBS. Gayle King basically flat out said to Chuck Schumer, we don't believe you anymore.
Hakeem and I, we have a day of action on Medicaid. In every state, in every corner of the country, Democrats are talking about they're going to Medicaid centers. They're going to people who would be deprived and
Senator, people don't have faith in the Democrats.
Well, let me say this. Look,
they don't have faith in the Democrats, she says. Senator Schumer, they don't have faith in the Democrats.
Senator, people don't have faith in the Democrats.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're oopsie. People are waking up. People are finally waking up to see that the Democrat Party is not what they thought it was. They were not. They were sold one thing on the Democrat Party. They were told they were going to get everything for free. They were told that everything was going to be great. They were told that the Democrat Party had what it took to lead this country. Instead, they got inflation. They lost their jobs. Egg prices went sky high. Their gas prices went sky high. Their military became woke. There were wars, endless wars all over the world. It was ridiculous. And now Chuck Schumer, the last remaining corporal or commander in the Democrat army, is trying to make good, but he's facing a coup d'etat, not just from his own troops, but also from the media. And Sarah Haynes, I don't know if you know who Sarah Haynes is. I had to Google her myself. Sarah Haynes is the least popular and famous member of The View. You got Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, everybody knows them. Sunny Hotson, people probably know her. Anna Navarro. She's probably pretty well known. What's her name? The one who's supposedly Republican, but was like she's like an Adam Kinzinger Republican. Alyssa Farah Griffin, and then there's the blonde girl Sarah Haynes, and even the least famous member of The View, basically called out Chuck Schumer and said, "You're no leader."
Right. But you were only able to get 9 Democrats to go with you. How is that leadership?
okay, look, the bottom line is there were a whole lot of Democrats who were torn. And they, on the one hand, people were clamoring, do something now, do something now. Now, do we have to act and do we have to fight these Republicans, this right-wing group,
the MAGA,
not all Republicans, every step of the way? But do it in the smartest way possible. If you're fighting them and then you end up in this shutdown, let me tell you something. If we ended up a shutdown 3 weeks from now, people would come to me and they'd say, they just cut off my Medicaid. They just got rid of my veterans benefits. Stop it. And I said, we can't. We're in a shutdown. And then they'd say to me, why did you let the shutdown happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I am furious. I wake up 3 a.m. sometimes so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or klepto, whatever, or, oligarchs, I guess.
Yes.
And, but you've got to find, we are fighting them tooth and nail in every way.
By the way, did you catch that part where he said he wakes up at 3 a.m. thinking about he wakes up, he loses sleep thinking about Elon Musk and President Donald Trump.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I am furious. I wake up 3 a.m. sometimes so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or klepto, oligarchs, I guess.
Yes.
And
I think that's true, by the way. I think if he's waking up at 3 a.m, it's because he has to pee. I mean, the guy's like, what? He's like almost 80 years old, or is he over 80? Hey, Siri, how old is Chuck Schumer? Chuck Schumer is 74.
74 years old.
Okay, Chuck Schumer is 74 years old. If this guy's waking up at 3 a.m., it's not because of Elon Musk. It's because of his bladder. It's not because of Donald Trump and the oligarchs. It's because, OMG, he's got to go drain the weasel. And look, and it happens to everybody. The older you get, the less bladder control you have. You got to wake up. That's why they make stuff like Flomax. He should probably actually look into some Flomax. But he's claiming he wakes up at 3 a.m, just so concerned about Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
I wake up 3 a.m. sometimes so worried about the future of the country.
I don't think he's been worried about the future of the country in a very long time, if ever. This is a guy who threatens Supreme Court justices. If you're worried about the future of the country, why would you threaten the lives of Supreme Court justices? This is a guy who, has been in Congress, probably now one of the longest running or longest serving senators that we have, and has no clue or semblance. It doesn't seem like he's giving any indication that he's leaving. He's out there fighting for his life, even though a lot of people believe that AOC is the future of the party, and that AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they believe that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to make a run at the Senate. They believe that she is going to challenge Chuck Schumer in the next election for his Senate seat so that she can be the next senator from New York. And I guess maybe even the next minority leader because it's going to be a cold day in HE double hockey sticks when these people are able to win back the Senate at the rate they're going. But AOC, this is the woman, by the way, that they think should be the next senator from New York and kick Chuck Schumer to the curb.
Hey, everyone. I'm just popping on. And, to be honest, I'm not even sure why I'm popping on right now. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. I'm just popping on. Which, by the way, if she wants to avoid the whole horse face, which I don't call her horse face, I've heard other people call her horse face. She probably shouldn't go because that's the sound that a horse, makes.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
I'm just popping on. And, to be honest, I'm not even sure why I'm popping on right now. Hey,
none of us are. We're not really sure why you're popping on. We're not sure why you're popping off. We're not really sure why you're in the Congress, and we definitely aren't sure why people think that you're the face of the Democrat Party. But if you are, that's great news for the rest of us, because the rest of us are Republicans, and it's a great time to be a Republican. In fact, I was at the REC meeting, the Republican Executive Committee meeting yesterday, and the vice chairman got up and he gave a speech, and he said, isn't it a great time to be a Republican? He said, if you're a Republican, which everybody was because it was the REC meeting, and he goes, if you're a Republican, think back to last year. How did it feel to be a Republican a year ago? Didn't feel really good, did it? It was a year ago. See, it was last March. Joe Biden was the president. He was running for office. We weren't really sure. We were in the middle of it. It was just Super Tuesday had just passed, and we knew that Donald Trump was coming back to office. But still, there was inflation. There was this. There was that. It was horrible, and it was a bad. It wasn't. It didn't feel good to be a Republican. Now, fast forward a year, and it's the best thing in the world. There's no feeling better. Everybody wants to be a Republican. Either everybody already is a Republican or everybody wants to be a Republican. Republicans are cool. Republicans are having fun. Republicans are popular. Republicans are popular in the White House, in the Senate, in the House of Representatives. The Democrats are at the lowest point ever. And the vice chair of the REC here in Duval County said, look, the Democrats are down. Keep kicking them while they're down. Invite them to become Republicans. Say, look, it's just going to get worse if you're a Democrat. You should become a Republican.
Mr. Trump.